G'day, Starlo here. Catching flathead on soft plastics. It's one of the absolute staples of recreational fishing in Australia. Doesn't matter if you're catching blue spots and sandies down south, or bar tails over in Western Australia, or duskies here on the southeast coast. There are few better ways and few more enjoyable ways of catching a feeder flathead than by using soft plastics. And if there's one brand of soft plastics that's synonymous with flathead, it's got to be the squidgies that Bushy and I developed back at the beginning of the new millennium for Shimano Australia. I would dread to think how many hundreds of thousands, I don't know, maybe millions of flathead have been caught on squidgies in the 20 odd years since we launched them. And they still work. This is a new one that's recently come out called the Ridge Shad, and I'm going to put it through its paces today. I'm pretty confident that it'll catch flathead. But I also wanted to revisit today some of the absolute basics of catching flathead on soft plastics. Look, it's not that tricky, it's not that hard to catch a couple of flathead on soft plastics, but if you get it right, you'll catch more, you'll catch bigger ones, and you'll have a lot more fun doing it. So I'm just going to go right back to basics today. 101 on catching flathead on soft plastics, and it starts off with rigging them right, getting them straight on the jig head so that they swim perfectly in the water. Sure, you'll catch some flathead on bent plastics that aren't swimming properly, but you'll catch a lot more on those ones that are swimming properly. All right, I'm going to pass on some more tips to you as I fish today, and if you hang in there till the end, I'll show you how you can download a PDF document of these top tips, Starlo's top tips for catching flathead on soft plastics. But let's get into it and see if we can score a few lizards, frogs, yanks, whatever you want to call them. The fact they've got so many nicknames tells you just how popular these humble but wonderful fish are. All right. Righto, so the very first thing that I want to get across to you with flathead is the fact that they spend most of their time lying or sitting on the bed of the lake or the river, and that's where they launch their ambush attack from. So you need to get your lure down there in front of them. You want to be fishing in the bottom metre of the water column, ideally in the bottom half metre of the water column. So get your soft plastic out there and make absolutely sure that it gets to the bottom. If there's a bit of current running or a bit of wind blowing like there is today, it can be a little bit hard to see that from the line, but if you watch the line carefully, it will relax when that jig reaches the bottom. Then make contact with it, and it's up to you how you want to fish it. Everyone's got their own style. They all seem to work. I like the double flick, 2 reasonably energetic flicks of the rod tip to get it swimming up off the bottom and then dropping back down again. Make frequent contact with the bottom. With some species of fish when I'm targeting them, things like mulloway and snapper, I'm not overly fussed about staying right on the bottom all the time, but with flathead, the more you can keep it down there in that bottom half metre to a metre of water, the more flathead you're going to catch. It's easy in shallow water, of course, but out here in this deeper water, I'm in about 4 or 5 metres at the moment, I've got to really concentrate on keeping that jig head down near the bottom. And it doesn't hurt to use a slightly heavier jig head than you would if you were targeting things like brim or estuary perch. A heavier head works well on flathead. And then it's just a matter of covering water. And of course we're looking for the obvious ambush points. Water coming out off the flats. The tide's actually coming in at the moment, which is not my favourite time for catching flatties, but I bet we'll still get a couple. A lot of the best flathead fishing in our estuaries takes place in shallow water, between ankle and armpit deep, particularly where bait fish, prawns and other food sources are being forced off the flats by falling water levels on the run-out tide. Always look for natural choke points and chutes where food's concentrated and predators can lie in wait. The edges of drop-offs and particularly any gutters running off them are prime spots. Target these hunting grounds and you will find flatties. Today I've managed to find a corner out of the strengthening breeze where I'm hoping the rising tide might bring bait fish upstream to the waiting flatties. As I said, the making tide isn't my preferred time for targeting flathead, but you can still catch them as the water rises. I'm motoring slowly on the electric and casting against the flow so that I can bring my lure back with the current. This is a more natural presentation and it helps to keep the lure down near the bottom. I nudge the boat ahead slightly between casts and concentrate on keeping my squidgy down near the riverbed in the strike zone. Watch exactly how I work the lure. Lots of pauses.
There's one. Might be a big flatty, I think. That's not even a big flatty, just that hit hard.
This 45 centimetre fish is a perfect keeper and right in my preferred slot for eaters. I don't mind keeping a couple of these each day and it's perfectly sustainable to do so. I'll pop it in the live well for now and kill and bleed it soon. The wind and tide are both strengthening rapidly, but I actually don't mind that. Sometimes this choppier, broken water makes the fish less cautious and more willing to strike. Let's see if I'm right. I'm out in nearly 6 metres of hard running water now, and I'm grateful for that 9-gram jig head to help get the plastic down and keep it there right through the retrieve, with the help of lots of pauses and drops, of course. Take your time and really let that plastic work its magic. And always react to even the slightest tap or bump.
Oh! Oh! Oh, that's a heavy... Is that a... Yeah, that's a fish. Oh, that's got some weight. Ooh, oh.
This is a serious one. I better get down closer to the landing net. Wow, big head shakes and lots of weight. I might back that drag off a click. I'm having trouble getting this beast off the bottom. Gently does it. I've got her moving now. Keep a bend in the rod at all times. They're experts at shaking the hook.
Oh, this is a bit bigger than I was intending to catch. This is not an eater, this one. This is a very big flathead. This is a very big flathead, in fact. Probably too big for my net.
It's really important to stay nice and calm at this stage. Don't panic. Whoa, that's a crocodile.
Not quite too big, but pretty big.
Mayhem.
Okay. Gonna have to tag this one. Dangerous animals.
Their power is amazing. I don't want her to hurt herself or me. I'm using a wet towel to grip her jaw, or trying to.
Just pinned beautifully in the corner. Goodness me. It's a lively one. Certainly healthy.
Onto the wet brag mat.
Now you sit quietly while I get the tagging needle out.
I'm going to tag this one as part of an ongoing New South Wales fisheries research program.
I haven't got an accurate length yet. It's very close to 90. It Might not go 90 though. Settle down. There we go, the tag's in. And we'll get a proper length now.
Look at those shoulders. Solid.
89. 89 on the knocker. Not quite 90. Oh! Oh God, it's biting me.
I'll swim her for a moment until she gets her strength back.
Ready to go. Woo! Off she goes like a shot. Now, you will occasionally catch a big flathead like that when you're trying to catch a feed of eating sized ones. Handle them well, get them back in the water, because they're the big female breeders. That's what gives us all those lovely 40, 50, 60 centimetre flathead. A big girl like that can produce, I don't know, 750,000, maybe 1 million, maybe more eggs every year. Of course, they're not all going to survive, but a lot of them do. Oh, that was exciting.
It's really important to recognise the importance of these big breeders to the future of our flathead fishery, especially in light of some of the damaging misinformation that's been spread around in recent years. Fact is, the bigger the flatty, the more eggs she'll produce. And while they're not all viable, the majority are. If you chase flatties enough, you will eventually cross paths with one of these very special unicorns. When you do, handle her with care and get her back into the water as quickly as possible and close to where you hooked her. I love eating flathead. They're relatively easy to process. I actually made an episode on that. And they produce delicious meals of firm white flesh. But I only take what I need and can immediately use. The rest go back so that we can all continue to fish for life. If you'd like to find out more about targeting flathead on soft plastics, you'll find the link to download my free PDF document below and in this episode's descriptions. I really hope it helps you to enjoy this wonderful style of fishing as much as I do. And until next time, this is Starlo, wishing you tight lines.